All right, welcome back to another Sudoku. This one is called Acid Arrow by Oceansellaven. Try to pronounce that as correctly as I can. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So it's I'm doing it backwards this time for some reason. Okay, we got every column, every row, and let's do every 3x3 box down here. Must contain the digits 1 through 9 once each. Digits along each arrow sum up to the digit in the arrow circle. So whatever these are the arrow, whatever these digits add up to is what this digit is. Digits separated by a white dot must be consecutive. These are Kropki dots. Black ones are Kropki dots as well, but a different version. So if this was a 5, let's say this had to be a 4 or 6. And the black Kropki dots digits separated by a black dot must be in a 2-to-1 ratio, which means that this is a 2. This has to just be either a 1 or a 4, either half or double of whatever it is. And not all dots are given. So those are pretty simple rules, your standard types of Sudoku rule sets. So let's get into it and see if we can get this one figured out. So what are we doing? We've got some arms going on here. Look like octopus. It's octopi. Does anybody ever know that one? I think it's octopi. Anyway, so we know this one has to be a fairly large digit because these have to, just looking at this one arm, this has to at least be 6 because 1, 2, 3 is the lowest you can possibly put. And then you have to add another digit to it. So this has to at least actually be 7. So 7, 8, or 9. This is going to be the same thing, 7, 8, or 9. What's that? Okay. Well, is that true? Can this be 7? These would have to be 1, 2, 4. These would have to be 1, 2, 4. No. Let me get my brain working again. Hold on. Okay, we're good. For this to be 7, these have to be 1, 2, 3. These have to be 1, 2, 3. Both of these would have to be 1. No way, no. This is not 7. Okay. Now, is there some similarity here? If this is 7, this has to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is not as restrictive. Well, actually it is. I don't need that one. Yeah, mess off. I don't need you. Can this be 7? Let's do it with 2 arms. Screw the 3rd and 4th ones. If this is 1, 2, 3, this has to be 1. To make another 7 here, I do 1, 2, 3 here. The lowest this ever could be would be 4. 1, 2, 3 plus 4 ain't 7. So that's not 7. Now, can we pare these down even more? Now, if this is 8, it could be a couple things. We've got 1, 2, 5, and 1, 3, 4. There's always a 1 on it. In fact, well, we don't want to get to 8. But as I was just babbling on, there still has to be a 1 on here. Because the lowest, if this was an 8 or a 9, the highest or the lowest this can be would be a 6. The highest it could be would be an 8. 6, 7, and 8 are the possible options for these 3 digits. All of those require you put a 1 on them. So this has a 1 on it. Now, this digit has to be pretty low. Because like I said, this is either 1, the lowest it can be is 1, 2, 3, which is 6. So this could be 2 or 3 in that instance. Now, it could also be 1, because this could be like a 1, 2, 4 to equal 7, and that would be a 1 to equal the 8. So we got 1, 2, and 3 possible here. Now, these digits have to have a 1 on it, so that actually removes that to being a 1. So this, yeah, this still could add, this either adds to 6 or 7. Which means it has to have a 2 on it, because you can only make 6, 1, 2, 3, and a 7, 1, 2, 4. So this also has a 2 on it. This can't be 1, 2, 3. It could be 1, 2, 4. And if it was 1, 2, 4, that's 7. This would have to be a 2. That don't work. So this is not equal to 7 either. So it's going to have to be equal to 8. And this is going to have to be a 1 to get me to 9. So these have to equal 8 in some way. They're either 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4. There's always a 1, and the 1 goes there. The 1 goes there. Do Sudoku. So what does that mean? Let me get rid of these 2 as well. So this 9, I've got 2 in here already. So these have to equal 7. So it has to be 2, 5, or 3, 4 is what I said. 2, 5, or 3, 4. These, the most they can be is 7. It's either 6 or 7, so it has to be 1, 2, 3, or 2, 4. You know, there has to be a 2 on it. This, there doesn't. It could be 2, 5, or 3, 4. Now this, can we do anything here? Now this has to have a 1 on it somewhere. I don't usually like going over the box's edge, but I'm going to do it on this one because I think it might be of some use. I might renege that and remove it. We'll find out. There has to be at least a 1 on here because I have to get to 8 as a bare minimum. Now this boy, he can only be 1, 2, or 3, right? Because the very least I can get is 1, 2, 3, which would be 6, and this would have to be 3. Okay, there's something. Excuse me. What else is there to do on this? Well, this one, is this any use really? It's not really. This could be a highish digit. I mean, it could be all the way up to a 6. Because these, no, that's not true. 5, does 5 work? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. So it could go up to 5. Let's put that in, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got a 2, 3, 4, 5 quadruple to go with our 1 there. That's interesting. I'm not gonna put these in yet because they don't do much good. I might need to switch down to here for a second. Let me take a quick gander up top again just to make sure. Okay, I don't see anything really up there, so let's go down here for a second. After I choke on my spit. Thank you. So we've got, these have to have a 1 on them, which means there has to be a 1 in one of these, because we got a 1 here. This has to have a 1 on it. It can't be there, so that's the 1, which means that's the 1. Just like Neo. So we've got a 1 here already. These have to either equal 7 or 8. So it's either 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 5, or 1, 3, 4. Not very useful. But we did remove 1s from here. Get rid of those. So none of these are 1s. Neither of these 2 is 1s because we got these and these. So this is the 1. I won't repeat that joke. You're welcome. Now we've got a 1 in one of these 3. So, what do these 1s do for us? Well, I mean, these little Kropki dots aren't going to come in, I don't think, until a little bit later. There's just too much that they could be. We know we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So these have to be from 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now this digit can never be 7 or 9 because you can't put a 7 or a 9 on a black Kropki dot because you'd either have to have 3.5, 14, 4.5, or 18 on the other side of it. So this has to either be 6 or 8, which means this has to either be 3 or 4. Not super helpful. Is there anything more I can do with these arms? So we know one of these is a 1. We know we can only go as high as 7. So there has to be a 2 on here as well. So it's either 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 4. We know this isn't 1, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that 2 as well. Just because I don't like it straddling the line. So what does that do? It's either 1, 2, 3 with a 3, or it's a 1, 2, 4 with a 2. I don't think I can do anything with that at the moment. I could very well be wrong. Well, let's look here. This has to at least be a 2 now. Can it be a 3? Yes, it can. So this has to, this is the same kind of situation. It has to either, since we already have a 1, these have to equal either 6 or 7 to make this work. So they are either 2, 3 or 2, 4. There has to be a 2. This is not a 2. So we're starting to bump this baby up a little bit, which is a good thing. Sorry, I got distracted. My phone dinged at me. Not important, but. So this has to at least be a 3 now. So if that's the case, we've only got 6 left over. So what is the most that these can be? Well, these can't be 1s, so they have to at the least be 2s. So that's already 4. That's already 7. This is a 1 or a 2 then. Can this ever be a 5? No. These were 2s. These are both 2s. That's the least. That would be 4. If this was 5, it would already be 9. So that, yeah, it's a no-go. Are these... Can they be... Yeah, they can't be a 4 on here. These are either 2s or 3s. And it's either double 2s or a 2, 3. Okay. Now that 2 makes this... Can't be a 1. So it either has to be a 4 or a 6. We've got a triple 2, 3, 4 here, which is interesting. It puts a 5 in one of those, but that's nothing real use. Well, can this ever have a 3 on it? And the answer is no. This Kropki set, I mean, could have a 4 on it, so it could be 4, 5, 6, or it could be 9, 8, 7, or anything in between. Well, actually, it can't be 4, 5. Well, yes, it can. Sorry. This could be a 4. That could be 5, 6, and that's a 4. Enough rambling of things that are not important. So the next step in this Sudoku solve is going to be to figure out the next step in the Sudoku solve. Aha. So this has to equal 7 or 8, is what I was saying prior. It could be 7, it's 1, 2, 4, and that would be a 3. If it's an 8 that I need, it could be 1, 2, 5, and this would be a 3, or it'd be 1, 3, 4, and that would be a 2. That doesn't seem to give me a whole lot of information. So this is either 2, 3, or 2, 4. I don't know which one. These, like I said, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 set up here. We've got a 2, 3, 4 here. Got a 1 that has to be in here. 1s and 1s. Okay, so I'm missing a little piece that's going to keep me going. So what am I not seeing? That's not quite a quad. What else do we have? Speak. Young man, I don't see what's next is the problem. I'm trying to think, and thinking takes up all of my brain power, which makes my mouth not move. So there has to be a, well, there has to be a 4 or a 5. Well, it has to be a 4 and a 5 on this line. What I'm trying to say. So this cannot be a 4. So there has to be a 4 and a 5. That's interesting. So that means, well, they can't both be on the same. So this has to have the 4. They couldn't both be on the same one, on the same leg here, because they would already equal 9, and this has to equal 9. So this had to either be a 4 or the 5, and this has to have a 5 on it now. So that is 5, 6, and 7. So this has to have a 2. So this is a 2, 5 pair. That gives me a 3. There we go. This is not a 3. In fact, it is a 2, because I said there had to be a 2 up there. So that is 6. This means this is 3. This is 4. I'm going to go back to typing like a big boy. So we've got 2, 5 now here. That 4 doesn't quite do anything yet. This 4 here does do some work though, doesn't it? Because I've only got 5 left. So these have to both be 2, and this has to be 1 to equal 2, 4, 8, 9. That's 5. That's 2. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. This is not all that helpful, but there it is. These are 6, 7, and 9. I don't have any use for that just yet. We know 2 has to be down here somewhere, not there because of that. Once again, not super useful. This 4 here, sorry. Gets rid of you, so you are a 2, 3 pair. So that's 6. So that, oh, that does, that 2 right there. I didn't see that for a second. That is 3, so this has to be 9. That then has to be 2 and 3. All right. None of these are 9, so there's a 9 down here somewhere. And there's a 9 up here somewhere. Can't be there. So we'll put a 9 in one of those just for the sake of doing it. 9 cannot go on its own line, so this has to be a 9. Which puts a 9 up here somewhere. One of these has to be a 9, so none of these are 9, so that is a 9. That's no longer a 9. None of these could be 9. This can't have a 9 because it has to be 9, 8, and there's already one there, so there has to be a 9 down here. So I think we've got our 9s pretty well X-winged off. This has to be the 9 because of that. Yes, we've got 9s and 9s and 9s and 9s. Okay, so these, we'll put it in now because there's only 2 left, is 6 and 7. Now, is there something this can be? Can't use 1, 3, or 4. It could be a 5 on it. It can't have a 9 or an 8. So it's from 5, 6, and 7, which means it has to have a 6 on it, which means this is a 7, and this is a 6. This is 5, 6, or 7, but, or just 5 and 7, really. Because the 6 has to be over there. Okay. That was something. A little blurry there. What about this column? And I'll probably come back to these clues in a second. I want to just pursue this. So there has to be a 5 that can go anywhere. There has to be a 6, 7, and 8 that can go anywhere. Okay, forget that. That's not doing anything. We've done all of these lines. This 2 means this has to be a 4. That can't be a 4. These 3 digits have to be from 3. Well, that's a 3 then. And then these have to be 6 and 7. So this can never be a 9, which means this is the 9 and that's the 9. You guys can go away. Thank you very much. That's 6 and 7. What can this be? It can be 5. Can't be 6, can't be 7. It could be 5 or 8. Okay. So this is going to be either 8, 7, 6 or 5, 6, 7, like that. This isn't 3, looking across here. This could still be, can this be can this ever be a 4? If that's a 4, the lowest this can make to is 6, and this could be 1, 3. Yeah, it could be. Okay. Is there anything we can do with these 2 digits? No, because it's 5, 6, and 8 again, and this can go anywhere. I mean, I know there has to be a 6 there, but that's not useful. There has to be a 4 down here. This could be a 4, and that could be a 5, sadly. So we've got... So this has to equal 8. So what do we say? It's either 1, 2, 5, which it cannot be anymore, or it's 1, 3, 4. So we're going to go with that. This can't be 1. Oh, wrong one. This can't be 1. This can't be 4. This can't be 3. So we've got a 1, 3 pair going on. I don't know if that's useful or not. Well, it means that this has to be at least 5. Guess that's kind of something. 5, 6, 7, 8. This has to be 5, 6, 7, 8. Not very useful. Okay. How about up here? Anything useful? Anything we can work with? We know there's a 6 over here. That's about it. I don't think there's anything really going to do here. Like I said, we know the 4 is down here. We know the 6 is up here. No, nothing cutting across here. That's not really all that useful at the moment. These really aren't useful at the moment. Okay, let me just look at some Sudoku. I don't think it's going to give me anything at the moment, but I'm going to take a look anyway. So we got 1s and 1s here. We know that already. What did I do up here? I don't know, but I hope that didn't mess up this solve, because this has to be a 2. Let's roll with it for a second and see what happens. Which means this has to be 5 and 6. Now, I think the only thing I said was this had to be a 6. So that shouldn't have affected my solve. Let's hope. So that 2, does that do anything? No. Well, it changes the game a little bit. We need to get... Well, this can't have a 4 on it, so there has to be a 4 here. Can't have a 4 because it can't have a 3 or a 5 with it. So that gets rid of these 4s. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So that is 6. So this has to be 3. Okay. I must have just mistyped these when I put them in. It happens sometimes. I hit the wrong button or click on the wrong thing. So we've got a 1, 3, 4 here. These are all from 5, 6, 7, and 8, which is completely worthless to me. Still haven't gotten anything from here then. About in here, anything on these things that I can work with. Let's go back to Sudoku again. So what was I doing? The 2 is what triggered me realizing that I was being... Alright, I had a typo. So none of those are 2. I mean, well, that does give me a 2 in one of these 2. And there has to be a 2 on this line, so this is the 2 and the 1 and the 3. That 1 will give me the 4 and the 3 and the 1. And we've got something. So let's go back. I think the 1s are all done now. I think the 2s are all done now. 2. 2, yes. 3s, are they done? 3 is done. 4s, that has to be a 4. So this has to be a 5. Let's continue with our 4s. That has to be 4. That has to be a 4. One of these has to be a 4. So this has to be a 4, 5 pair. And those are the 4s. So that tells me which one's which. This is then 6 and 5. And that 4 there gave me that 4. So I can get rid of that So what is left here that this could possibly be? I know there's probably more Sudoku. I can just keep going. Try to do some other types of logic here. So we've got 7, 8, and 9. Nope. I'm going to step away from that real quick. There's too much stuff it could be. So I was at 4s, right? And I finished them. So 5s. This is a 5. This is a 5. This is a 6. This is a 7. Much nicer than what I was trying to do. This has to be the 5. Those are the 5. Okay, 6s we will try next. This has to be the 6. One of those has to be a 6. This could be... What about 7s? Jump onto that real quick. Well, what is this? Sorry, this is 8. This can't be 9, so this has to be 7. So these have to be 6 and 9. 9 and 6 and 8. And what else we got? 8 and 7 over here. Don't have those figured just yet. That's interesting. Excuse me. So this is going to be a given digit. These have to be 6 and 8. So this is, sorry, my phone rang again. Annoying, but it is what it is. This has to be 7. These I said were 6 and 8. There has to be a 9 in this row, so it's got to be this one. So this has to be the 8, and this has to be the 7. Now, this is a given something, 7, which makes that 8 and 7. This is the given 6. This is a given 8. These are not 8s. And what else are they not? Well, there has to be a 5 on it, so it's a 5, 6. So this is the 7. This is the 8. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 6, 6, 6. I don't know why I just said that 3 times. This is 8 and 6 and 8 and 5 and 6. And these have to be 7 and 5. And there we go. Yeah, congrats, you did it. Under a half hour. Good. Because it seemed like I was going to take a little bit longer than I first started it. But great puzzle. Acid Era by Oceansellaven. Or is it Eleven or something like that? Apologize if I don't say your name exactly right. Not a whole lot of clues to start with, but it all seems to work out in the end. They all work together. And I was correct that these guys here would be kind of mopping up at the end to take care of this. So anyway, really enjoyed that one. Hope to see some more from this creator. And hope to do plenty more Sudokus for all y'all. As long as you continue to enjoy watching, and I will continue doing them. So thank you for coming along for the ride. I will see you guys and gals in the next one. Later.